What's up, Dad? What's up, Dad? What's up? What's up, Dad? What's up?
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
All right, guys. It is the What's Up Dad podcast. Here we go. We got season 3 episode
number 27.
Number 27. Guys, I'm super excited. We're super excited to be here, to be making this happen, continuing to pump out the content. Ryan is absolutely got all that on locks. I have no idea what I'm doing. And we still have papers on our desk every week. Isn't it exciting?
It's exciting.
It's
good
exciting.
stuff.
It's exciting. So how's your week going?
Good week. It's been pretty good. No issues, no concerns. Busy week though. Lots of things going on at work. So yeah, but it's been good. How about you?
It's been a busy week. Been a long week. I do not like when the kids are off school and then it's cold outside and then all kinds of stuff. It really just throws everything off, in my opinion. Like, give me vacation with vacation, but don't give me not vacation with not vacation, right? I want consistency. Just the kids need the consistency. I need consistency. So there's that.
Yeah, it's been a lot with vacation, holidays, and then school's out because school's out.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's no rhyme or reason. Cold outside or there's not enough teachers to go around kind of thing.
I don't know.
So, and then, this will have happened by the time this episode airs, but Snowmageddon is coming.
Yeah, number 17 for the year. Yep.
And cold weather after that. It's fun times.
Honestly, I was really hoping that we would get through the cold weather. I thought for some reason
already it'd be done.
I thought for some reason I was like, man, we're gonna be mid-January. We've already had the really crappy cold weather, and it's gonna be like, bam, we're good.
Yeah,
and
you're just ready for it.
I was so ready. Now. I thought this was gonna be the year. I don't know why this was the year, but I thought it was gonna be the year, and it's not the year.
You're like, all right, Great Wolf Lodge. I'm gonna walk out of this lodge that's been 80 degrees and I'm going to walk into it. No.
Yeah, it wasn't 80 degrees this time though. So I'm going to be honest with you.
All right.
But yes, I agree. But on that note, we're going to keep the episode moving today, but on that note, it was the warmest it's ever been from us going in the winter, getting out of the lodge. So that's what I'll say on that note. So there you have it.
Okay. Well, it's not over yet. Snow, winter. I think we got a couple more months. Probably.
I think this might be the longest winter we're going to have for a while.
You know, my favorite part is though, and I'll just say this, is when you finally like that day when you get in your car and you're pulling out and all of a sudden you just see a little bit of green on the trees.
Oh,
you know that day I'm talking about?
That's the day.
That's the day. You're driving down the road. You're like,
yeah.
Even if it's going to be cold or whatever, you just know here it is.
I just think if the weather's gone before spring training opens up, like baseball wise, I feel like it's a win. I'll consider that a win, right? And at the end of the day, but you're right, man. If you see that hint of green come on a tree, like, good golly,
here we go.
We are set for some awesomeness. So I'm excited about that. All right, what do we got for today?
So we got a couple things on tap for today. Of course, we're gonna have our discussion. In between the discussion, we've got the food review this week. So we're gonna be reviewing a kind of a sweet treat.
Love it.
It's a classic and a sweet treat. So we'll talk about that more here in a little bit. We've got some conversation regarding, a couple topics actually. Mistakes dads or husbands make. And also want to talk about what makes you the dad that you are. Because I think this is an interesting topic that I thought about, in preparing for the episode. Is we all have, and I don't want to get too much into it, but we all have things that kind of make us the person we are.
Okay.
What makes us more specifically the dad we are? And some of those things I think are universal, right? They all kind of impact each other, but there's certain things. So we'll get into it here in just a bit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are going to notice we got a new setup. So we are prepping for more people. Right at the end of the day, we got actual space. We're trying to really utilize the space that we have. I don't have billions of dollars to spend on a podcast studio. This is the basement, you know what I mean? But we got a lot going on. You'll notice We got some changes to the background. We finally got rid of the lamb. Right? Beth is so
The
excited.
lamb is gone.
The lamb is gone.
He went to
look at this.
slaughter.
Look at this. But we got hats hung up. Like, we're trying to pull all this together because Dad Gang is one day going to be a sponsor, and we're
Yeah.
going to have a hat. I guarantee it. But hey, that's a whole other problem and thing for us to deal with another day. So, all right, let's break it open.
All right, let's do it.
Discussion. Here we go. Mistakes dads and husbands make.
Mhm.
What or who made you the dad you are? I'm just reading my
You
notes. here,
jumped
sorry.
right to the next step.
Dagnabbit, I read.
You know what? Whichever one you wanted to start
Where's
with.
the comma? Where's the comma? I'm gonna have to proofread these.
Yeah, you're gonna.
All right. No. Whoa. Let's back up. All right. Mistakes dads or husbands make.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you wanting me to tell everybody my mistakes that I make?
No. Well, you could. I mean, it would be nice for you to share some mistakes.
All right.
But I thought, yeah,
I'll let you lead them. Not. Man. All right. So easy one is just not communicative. Right.
Yeah.
And it's something I struggle with. We've talked about it before on the podcast, just not being able to communicate. That's something that has been a scenario that I've dealt with for a long time. It's a real thing. Like, right at the end of the day, just working on that, working through that, being able to say what is needing to be said, not something that I like it's fluff or filler. Right.
Mhm.
Being confident in my words. So there's a mistake, right? When you don't say that. So creating that confidence there. I don't know. Mistakes that I make. I work a lot. We work a lot as
Mhm.
parents. Like, business owners, we work a lot with everything that we have going on. So I do feel like that's a mistake that I make as a dad, right?
Yeah.
Just very heavy into the work. However, the kids really do. I think we have a lot of respect from our kids for the work that we do.
Sure.
So like that's like a double-edged sword for me,
Yeah.
in that perspective. But
Yeah. Do you think there's an age in which that kind of comes to realization, or is it a conversation with them, or how does that kind of come up? They're like, oh, mom and dad are working, they're earning, we're making a living, we could do all these things, or we have all these things because of the work that's being done. Do they kind of, do you feel like your kids like come to a realization of that, or it's more just through conversation?
man, that's a tough one. I think our oldest has come to realization. I think she definitely has. I don't know if it was necessarily an age. She's always had like a knack for understanding of what mom and dad do and the things that we have going on in our lives and the multiple businesses and
Yeah.
income streams and you name it, right? Like what we have going on. So she's always had a knack for that. Whereas my middle child is clueless. I really think. I think she thinks money grows on trees,
Sure.
and I think she thinks that the world revolves around her.
Yeah.
As well as it does, daddy treats her like his baby,
Yeah.
right?
Middle
And so
child.
middle
Sure.
child, she has middle child syndrome, and I am all into that with her because I get it, and
Yeah.
and I love her character for that, right? My son, on the other hand, I mean, he's taking after mom and dad, so I
Yeah.
think that's kind of comical. Not like you have one that gets it, which is the oldest, the next one's clueless, and now he's like, I can see his leadership qualities just
Yeah.
coming through,
Yeah.
right? Like to ask to watch to help do videos or to help do stuff or being involved, like his level of involvement is so crazy to me.
Yeah.
Crazy. So um there's that.
Yeah.
Right. And we talk a lot about why we do what we do. That's the thing. Like some business owners don't. Some business owners are just like, well, daddy makes all the money. Mommy makes all the money. Daddy and mommy run a business. But we talk to the kids about the stuff that we do. We talk to them. They get to hear the conversations, the real conversations about, what's going on at the office or what's going on with, the, videos and the influencing business and the this and the that. So like they're very in tune to the things that are going on and they understand what mommy and daddy need at this point in time. So, but again, we overwork, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of overworking. And when it comes, and where I struggle is it comes from like all the extracurriculars that happen like this. I come home tonight from being at an office all day long, literally missed the kids last night, missed the kids this morning, being gone all day long, come home and rearrange this whole set this afternoon, right? On the fly because it's just in my mind. And my son's sitting here and he's like, I want to get involved. I want to do this. And I'm like, can you lift this table? I guess you can't. All right, dad's got it. So it's just like, I feel bad sometimes, but then they're super pumped. Like my daughters have been like, can I record an episode with you? Can I do this? Can I do that? And I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely you can. You know what I mean? So it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's good. I was thinking along the lines of when I was thinking about this, about how sometimes we and I'm thinking about this with my son, and I had mentioned this a couple podcasts ago about uh, as the kids get older and you kind of change as a dad a
Mm.
little bit. One thing I'm trying to be very careful on is not becoming too much of a friend
Ooh,
to him,
yeah.
to my son, because that is uh, not mentioning any names, of course, but you see that in some parents, they want to become friends with their kids, and
Yep.
it's a whole different dynamic. And so I really thought about, okay, how do I keep the engagement? How do I keep the, the fun, so to speak, but also make sure that the relationship maintains this father-son level that it needs to maintain?
Sure.
Because my son, he's at the point right now where he is all about, like, and I love it. Like, he's all in, like, let's play chess, let's do this, let's play this game. He's not at the point um where it's kind of like stay away from me, which that's like maybe 5% of the time right now. I know as the years go on that might grow and grow and grow, especially being a boy. But so I want to uh, dive into that, but I don't want to dive into the point where it's like, oh, hey, we're best buds. Because the other
Yeah.
day he called me bro, and that was a mistake on
Absolutely,
his
it's a
part.
mistake.
Huge mistake on his part. I said, I am not your bro, and don't he dare say that to his mother, because there'd be some major consequences. But it's that kind of thing. He doesn't really understand it in that way, right? But they understand, like, oh, you know, yeah, this is my dad, but if we're doing all these things and it's all these fun things, we're also, oh, they're my friend, so to speak. So, and yeah, that was a mistake that I wanted to bring up, get your feedback on, and yeah, see what you think.
All right. So you just gave us the title of the episode. He called me bro. That's what it's going to be called. So, guys, you're here, and we're 12 minutes in. And
Breaking
I'm going to be honest
news.
with you. I might be marking it right now. I
He
just wrote
marked
that
it.
down because I like it. I like it. I think it's
Baldwin
interesting. You know what's funny about that is my daughters, we have like kids at church, for example, that we know that are older than our girls, because we have most of our friends are older than us, and most of them have older kids than us, and they'll call me bro or whatever it might be,
Their
because
kids
they're
are
trying to
going,
be cool. They're like they're 13 years old, and they're like, hey bro, kind of they're being cool, walking around church or whenever you see them and stuff like that. And they're being all cool and stuff, and they'll say that, and then my daughter will come down, she'll say, hey, yeah, dad, bro. And I'm like, dad, no. Like, I do the same thing. So, like, I get that. There's that level. There's that level. And in all honesty, Beth may kill us. We could probably work the next 45 minutes on daddy issues and when it comes to like being a friend and stuff like that. And I don't know if my dad watches these podcasts. If he does, he's either hating me or loving me right now breaking into this. But at 13 years old, my dad and I became best friends.
yeah.
Like, dad versus son,
Mm-hmm.
just, I feel like, looking back, disappeared.
Gotcha.
And we became best friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We were college roommates, and it was a really weird dynamic, and that has impacted our life,
Yeah.
like, indefinitely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's something we can't get rid of, or we can't get rid of. Now, we don't, Dad, watching this episode, we don't really have much of a relationship today, and I hate to say that, and I wish that would change, right? So not only do I witness that, but I say that, and if you're here watching it, you hear that from me. Like, I wish we could change, but it takes us going from best friends to dad son.
Yeah.
And how does that occur? But to dad son in a proper way, even at 35, 36 years old, and him at 65, 66 years old. Right. So when we look at that dynamic, that we have to get back to the grassroots of things. You know what I mean? And I don't say this because, parents oftentimes are just the victim. No, they're not the victim. The kids are oftentimes the victim. The parents are oftentimes the opposite of it, whatever that would be, the perpetrator, right?
Yeah.
Like the person, the cause.
Right.
And then the kids are the victims. I don't necessarily believe that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I had just as much wrongdoing when I was 13. Now, maybe at 13 it's a little different, but 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, like there is years and years and years of this where at some point in time, I, as a human being, I, as who I am, should have stood up and should have asked, should have been vulnerable enough to ask and work through that. And I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I didn't know that I could from my dad. I don't know if it was that situation. So again, there's that, I don't want to say it's victim mentality or whatever it might be, but at the end of the day, we all have to take some level of responsibility. At some point in time, at 21 years old, when I was going to get married, I should have sat down with my dad and said, Dad, I need dad advice, not bro advice.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I got? I got bro advice.
Yeah.
It's the shittiest advice I've ever got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like, and I say that in very much like perspective, and sorry I cuss, guys, but that's the reality. That's the reality. And that's been that overall arching ongoing aspect that's kind of kept us from being father son.
Sure.
You know, and I agree. Like you have to be a dominant individual in your family. Like it's Ryan's way, then Amber's way, it's Grayson's way, then Beth's way, right? Because that's, I mean, that's the way the household's made up. Let's we can talk biblically, we can talk all that, but in reality, like I'm the leader of the house, you're the leader of the house. So like, you know, when he looks at like that's that,
Yeah.
you know, and so if you don't have that, if that's not in there, I think that plays a huge role, and that creates there's all kinds of mistakes that can be made and all kinds of flips and that changing that role process. And goodness gracious, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make the like I'm trying to not get there.
Sure.
Right. You know, and that's what I don't want to be there. I don't want to be in that position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think about, I mean, our families had, or we had similar dynamics growing up. And I think about like my dad and my relationship. I never felt, that way. Like, you know, there was all kinds of things happening with parents getting divorced and all that stuff. I never felt like he was bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
But-
Hindsight's 2020. You don't feel that in the moment.
Yeah, correct. But one thing I'll say too, and I think there's so many different dynamics that play into here. My dad is much older than your dad, you know, and my dad had raised one son all the way to college, then had another son, then I was third, right? And so I think there's probably some of that where if you're older, maybe that is not happening, you know, as much. For us being dads with our age group in our 30s, I think that can happen more often. I don't know how. So you were 13 and your dad was how old?
Well, if I was 13, that was 2003, so that would have made him what, 43?
Okay. So in that
Yeah.
late 30s, early 40,
Yeah, that was
where my dad was
43.
like 60.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, and you're right. That's a
Yeah.
huge different. I mean, that's a way different dynamic.
yeah,
You know, I mean, we talk like time periods when he was growing up and where he raised the kid in a whole nother generation,
Yeah,
right? You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah.
He's like, we didn't use seatbelts to raise your brother.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? We
Yeah.
didn't have it.
But it's interesting because you have some of that perspective as far as like, okay, now you can apply it. Like, you know, as you're managing your kids, you're not going to operate that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's parents that don't even have, you know, maybe they don't even have any understanding of what that looks like.
Yeah.
But they're just trying to. I mean, I know some couples that had kids at a really young age, like they were like 19, 20, right?
Mhm.
So then their kids are 19, 20, and they're right, like
Yeah.
right there. So, you know, it becomes a thing. Now, do you think, quick question on this, is there ever an acceptable time in which that relationship ever becomes more than parent child?
I think so. I think there's a version of that does play into role, and it depends on things. Now I'm gonna ask you another question though. When Parker, you give, in a sense, I'll give my daughters away one day, right? But when you give Parker away, because in a sense, like once he gets married, like boom, done, out of the household, he's a man, he's on his own. I think there's a level where we do have to shift. Dad advice, but bro advice is still there.
Mhm.
I was listening to something, and I think this comes relevant in the what you're talking about. I was listening to something where a guy was talking about how, he had a friend that would only invite like his daughter on vacation, but they wouldn't invite son-in-law. And there was still
Wait, say
vacation.
that again.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, say I
So
gotta
like
write it down.
daughter is
That's why we
married.
have the paper
Daughter
here.
is married,
Daughter is married
and
to
they would go on to son-in-law, right? So
son-in-law.
he has a son-in-law,
Got it.
and they would go on family vacations.
Who's they? The family?
Mom and dad,
Of the
like,
daughter.
of the daughter would only take daughter. Like they'd have regular old family vacations.
And the son-in-law did what?
Son-in-law would not come. It would not partake and not come. Not because it's because they surely just they wanted their time with daughter.
Wow. Okay.
And like, and that really was like mind crushing to me, like mind numbing. And like, I just feel like once our kids are given away, right? Like we give our kids away, you know, not like first to Christ, but we give them away to be married to somebody else. Like our whole job is to support that marriage, is to literally be in support in every way possible, right?
Sure.
So there is a version of bro. Now, bro appears when we're golfing. Bro appears when we're at a sporting event. Bro should appear when we're having a good time, when we're at the family barbecue and we're enjoying ourselves. Bro is able to show up more then. Right. However, I don't think bro shows up until you're married.
Okay.
So I think there's like that fine line, because it is literally my job is to get my kids married, get them off out of this household. Like whether they're 19 or 20 or whatever that looks like, I'm not like pushing them out the door, but I think that's my job, right? Is to, you know, our job is to build kids of character and kids of faith and strong humans in that capacity. And our job is to marry them on, right? And have them go build families.
Yeah.
So I have a whole lot of work to do before we get to that point. And then there may be a switch, a shift and everything. So I don't know. That's a big one. Let me ask you another one.
Yeah.
How about, okay. So we got Beth, producer Beth. We might get into some time here. This one's interesting.
You're doing good.
How do you think the correlation is between what type of parent you were and what type of grandparent you will be?
Wow. I don't know. From experience, there is no correlation.
Interesting.
Because I feel like it's always the same word. My parents weren't like this when I was a kid, but they will treat my grandkids or whoever like completely different, right? So I think from just hearing that and seeing that and it being real, plus where do you not hear that? Where it's like the grandparents do whatever they want for the grandkids, but as a parent, you're like, that never happened to me when I was a kid, right? So from experience, that's what I see.
I've seen it.
But I think that in reality, if I think about myself and the way that I mean, it's such a hypothetical.
Isn't it though?
It's such a hypothetical. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I have been as invested as I can in my son's life. Definitely make mistakes. Definitely don't do it right all the time. And so when I think about it from a grandchild perspective, I don't know how much more invested I would be. And maybe that's why, well, truly, if you think about it, it's almost harder unless you're raising the grandkids, right? You're not obviously going to be with them all the time.
I want a compound. Like I want our houses to be interconnected,
Like a big,
like a compound of houses.
Yeah.
I have this weird perspective. Like while it's not my responsibility to raise those kids whatsoever, and I won't have any necessary opinion of that, I 100% want to be available to my grandkids eventually. Like, and I remember heard a sermon, family sermon preacher a long time ago saying you should be praying for your kids and your kids' kids and your kids' kids' kids and your kids' kids' kids. Like generationally, we should be praying for. And like that's that angle I've taken. Like there's a level of responsibility. Like I want to be so involved. They're just like, get out of here. Like, and I'm like cool with that.
Yeah.
That's just like my initial feelings.
Yeah.
Right. But I also enjoy being a parent too. I enjoy being a parent. I'm going to enjoy more babies when they have babies. I'm going to
Mhm.
enjoy all that stuff. I hope we have a
Mhm.
gaggle of kids running around, and I'm going to pay for everything because I still feel like that's my responsibility. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. That's a weird one. And I want to get that's a question that I want a grandfather on here,
Yeah, that'd be good.
not to grill them because, hey, if they're not in that way, I'm curious as to maybe the why. You know,
Yeah.
because some people will have different opinions of that, and I respect that. I mean, I don't think there's a right answer, but having a grandfather on here to ask that question would be quite unique.
Yeah, because for you and I, it's almost all hypothetical
Absolutely.
answering this question. And
Well, I don't know where I'm going to be in 20 years or 10 years or however. Oh,
Yeah.
oh gosh, it's better not be 10. But, 10,
Yeah.
15 years from now, when my kids start thinking about having kids, I don't know where I'm
Sure.
going to be.
Yeah.
Right. I have no idea what my health is going to look like. I have no idea where I'm going to be living.
Yep.
I have no clue. So you're right. It's all hypothetical.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad you didn't ask me what episode of the podcast that would be.
Yeah.
And like grill me on that.
no.
Episode 10,000.
Yeah, 10,033. Got it. No. All right. So what makes you the dad you are then?
Well, you kind of jumped ahead.
Oh, wait, but we didn't answer the second part of that question.
No.
Oh, no, we did mistakes. Oh, we're doing food review.
We're going to do the food review. Yeah.
Okay. Did we hit on? So I want to make sure clarify. Did we spend enough time on this context? You think we hit all the mistakes?
It's good. I mean, it's hard to do this in a 15, 20-minute segment, but no, we definitely didn't hit all the mistakes that dads make. But if you have a mistake out there that you want to share, something you've done, feel free to comment, share. Let us know.
I'll give you foods of thought. It's your responsibility to do the dishes just as much as it's your responsibility to do the laundry, to mow the lawn, and to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
I truly think that, like, at the end of the day, like, there are things that I do 100% and things that I do 50% of the time, right? And that is just our duty to take care of this family.
Sure.
Right? What I will say, the mental load my wife carries, I couldn't even imagine.
Enormous.
Couldn't even imagine. Even though she's a co-business owner in all of our businesses, and she still has so much of that load. Like, her mental load of running the mental load of this family is just
it's crazy.
I couldn't imagine. I can't fathom that. So when I look at that, I'm like, okay, well, all right, I'll get the dishes. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and take care of that. Like, you just keep doing you. You know what I mean? So, like, I think that's responsibility. And then something else, I think, and this is a future podcast topic, which I know it's not on there. It's do you believe in a shared bank account or a split bank account? And how do you guys have it at home? Because that's a mistake. I think there's a mistake hidden in there.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about that.
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
And I challenge that conversation because it's a unique one. It's an interesting one.
Okay.
And I've seen shifts and peaks and valleys of that aspect.
Yeah.
And I think that could be tied into mistakes we make as husbands, of not being able to lead that and looking at things certain ways. And I think that could be just, how do you run your household? And prove me wrong too.
I mean, I didn't know there was a thing with split bank accounts.
Absolutely.
But
I know plenty of people that have split bank accounts.
Yeah. But you believe in that or no?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't understand it.
Yeah.
We
have one additional, just real quick, we have one additional bank account that pays a bill that is separate. It's like a car payment that I have, that I'm the sole person on it. So there's a percentage of my check that goes into that account, and I pay the bill every month.
What is it, through Ohio, and you have a special bank account with them to get an interest? Yeah. That's not a split bank account.
That's the only thing that goes in there. Everything else is shared.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think that's a crazy.
You're saying split account, like
husband makes money, wife makes money.
Wow.
They throw in the pot. I know people that and I hate to, like, say this. Like, I know people that's like, okay, I own the house. It's my equity in the home all the way to that point.
Wow.
Various things. It's like, oh, daddy wants to go buy a new gun. I go buy a new gun. I got all my play money. I do whatever I want.
Gotcha.
That's a weird one.
Let's talk about that. That'll be a good one. That'll be a good future episode. Till split do you part.
Yeah. No, stop it.
Write it down, baby.
All right, here we go.
So today we've got a food review. Food reviews are just better than the product reviews, by the way. I just think people really appreciate the food reviews. I'm talking to my camera here. This is actually kind of cool. This is the sweet and salty Bugles. Do you say Bugles?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Sweet and salty Bugles. I've heard people say Bugles, which I
They're
know
psychopaths.
they're absolutely. By the way, who should eat Bugles? Do you know what the answer is?
Everyone.
Yeah, anyone. It's everyone. Tiny house dwellers and big city dreamers, nosy neighbors, and li- and lion tamers, amateur rappers and selfie snappers, babysitters and avid knitters, ninjas and cute baby otters. 9 out of 10 auctioneers.
I am blown away. The fact that they know their perfect audience is unbelievable.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, I love that. That's
Bugles,
great.
I'm going to be calling you guys to get some, we're going to use this marketing.
All right. So anyhow, Bugles, if you don't know what a bugle is, you didn't grow up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, or you're probably not alive. But Bugles are this horn-shaped crispy corn snack. I grabbed this one because it was something different. You know, they have the ranch, they have the cheese, the regular. Everyone.
Cheese are atypical.
Have you ever had sweet and salty?
Absolutely not.
Perfect. Neither have I. So that's why I picked it out.
All right, pre-guess. Give me a rating. Pre-guess. Before you even smell that package, what do you think? We're going to get a pre and a post.
I mean, it's Bugles. I think they do a pretty good job. I've had a couple Bugles in my life. I'm going to say it's going to be in the 9 range.
You must like Bugles then. Okay.
But sweet and salty, I mean, that's tough. When you combine sweet and salty.
Can you read what is the flavor, the actual flavor?
Well, artificially flavored.
No.
Caramel.
Just see, that already gives me the
heebie-jeebies.
I'm not sure if this is what I like. I'm going to take 2. And the reason is you can't call caramel. Is it caramel or caramel?
Caramel.
Yeah, caramel. You can't call that sweet and salty.
So, by the way, they have, if you're ready for it, original nacho. They just came out. Actually, they've had this one for a while. Hidden Valley Ranch, which. All right, we're going to do it.
I like that it's got a good bit of stuff on it. They're not.
By the way, when I was a kid, did you do this?
On your finger. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's how you know.
That brings me back.
Oh, it just. Jeez, Nick is going to be so upset. We got stuff all over our table and everything. Here we go.
Give your camera the stare down while you're chewing on it.
Wow.
Okay.
You're not going to like my review.
I don't think you're going to like mine either. I'm going to eat a third one.
You're in heaven over there.
Get one more just to be sure.
I have a reason I'm going to take 2 because I took 3. Okay, they're together.
Oh, you know what though? Oh, so that one I just had was completely different. Okay, look in here. You can see some of them are drenching in caramel.
That's what we got.
Oh, okay. All right. So like we always do, we rate it on the advertised item, which is a crispy corn snack that is sweet and salty, caramel flavored.
This deserves 2 ratings.
Okay. You can't do 2. I don't think that's. Why would you do 2 ratings?
Because this flavor profile is misleading.
Okay.
It is 100% sweet and salty.
Mm-hmm.
When it hits, it's hitting.
Yeah.
Like 9.7 sweet and salty.
Okay.
Just because that's what it is. Now, on a caramel bugle, 6.3.
Yeah.
It's so where's the caramel?
Yeah.
Like, where is the caramel? Like, I'm struggling to really get that.
Well, it's there, but it's only on certain ones.
It's only on certain ones. So, like, man. So we can average that out to like a 8.
Yeah.
But I love the sweet and salty though. The sweet and salty is absolutely a banger.
Yeah, when I got the salty taste right after that, I was like, wow, okay. But yeah, some of it is just you can't really see.
And that's like pure salt.
Yeah, there's no caramel in there.
Yeah, pure salt.
That's good though.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I actually like that. I'd probably eat that whole bag.
Okay.
Not right yet. No, I probably would. I probably would and be very disappointed.
Yeah.
I feel like my sodium, the salt intake would
You'd
be
have
like
to drink a lot of water.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No,
Ne-
that's
so
good.
next time, I know we brought this first time, but next time, not next time, but episode
The next time.
29, whatever, we're gonna do. These are Grayson and my is one of our favorite. You know, you get the snack mix, the Chex mix, whatever. They have all those different ones. These, which I didn't know this existed until we had Jason on.
Yep.
These are actually special request garlic rye chips, which is what you find in those. That's all that's in this thing. So, and yeah,
That is heaven. That's heaven in a bag right
yeah. So, are you good to save this, or will this be
Absolutely. I mean,
completely gone once we come back
I
in a
found
couple
the
weeks?
the sour punch.
The sour punch is still
I'm eating
here.
these.
Yeah, all the food stays here. We could eat.
Yeah.
We can eat it with these bugles will be
Here,
here.
help yourself.
There we go.
Oh, I got all apples.
Grayson said this is a good pre-workout, and here it is.
You work out today?
I did. That's why my heart rate. I said when I came, I'm like, why is my heart? It takes it a minute to kind of come down.
You go
sometimes.
to the gym and then come over?
No, I went to the gym, went home, ate, and then came over. Yeah, a little bit of time in between.
Okay. What'd you have for dinner?
Hibachi.
Ding 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 ding.
Oh yeah. Rice, chicken, veggies, and yum yum.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna get you a hat. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, it was.
Ooh.
I'm so glad. Those are.
All right, we got sweet, salty, sugary.
These are growing on me. These are
Mhm.
growing on me. I'd probably go back and change mine, but I don't know if it's the salt.
You were low on that.
But I don't know if it's the salt. That salt with that real good sour sweet.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like
Maybe we should. Yeah,
we'll
make our own
Chex Mix bowl. We're gonna do a whole,
Put 'em all in there.
bowl like with Trail Mix bowl. Absolutely.
There we go.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. Next segment. Here we are. Why are you the dad you are? What factors influence you today? Being a dad. Why are you?
Awesome. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of factors, and I think that I really look at my childhood and growing up, and the things that my dad did, the sacrifices he made. My parents were divorced when I was around 10. And of course he had already raised, like a couple kids, and
Yeah.
And my middle brother ended up going to live with our mom, and then I lived with my dad. And so, I got to live through probably one of the greatest. I always say it's like the second greatest choice I made besides following Jesus was choosing to stay with my dad when I had the choice to go either way. And I didn't know that at the time, right? I'm a 10-year-old kid. I don't know what decision I'm making for myself necessarily. But God, kind of put that on my heart. I went that direction, and it was a great decision. And all the things that I learned from really that moment on, and about how he took care of me and how he managed things. I mean, I mimic him in a lot of ways, like as far as that goes. And honestly, the opposite is true with my mom. And not that it's a bad relationship now, like it's a little bit better as years have gone on, and kind of grown up and things. I mean, I remember saying very hurtful things to her and things, but I was able to learn how to be a parent from both sides of the coin, and some people get that opportunity, not a lot of people do, but when you get that chance, you either learn it or you don't.
Either one of them ever remarry, like when you were a kid, or ever at all?
No, neither
I think
remarried.
that's a huge factor. So I went through similar perspective. Well, now both my parents are remarried, but I was already married. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So having already been married and now they're remarried, like I didn't get to see that. And so you got a very different side of a parent for a very long period of time. A single parent is task.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and my mom remarried, but when I was married,
Yeah.
so it was
Yeah, yeah,
much
yeah.
later in life. Didn't really have any impact, but I think that being able to see kind of both and how they both managed me as a child and my brothers as children, um, really has an impact, and it still has an impact to me on this day. Not just simply the divorce and how things kind of went from there,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, how the things that were said, how people were treated,
Sure, sure, sure.
how the situations were managed.
Okay.
Um, so I think for me, I'll say that what's the question?
Yeah, yeah. Can we get back? Can we
Yeah.
rope this
Can we
back in?
rip this
No, I'm
back
just
in?
kidding.
No,
No,
it's
no, no.
good.
You're fine.
Yeah,
You're
why
fine.
why do we become
You're
yeah,
fine. You're there where you're supposed to be.
yeah, so I would say 90% of that is based on for me based on that experience, based on that those situations. And then also I think part of it is just kind of learning to adapt your personality
Mm.
with your dadhood, if that makes
Yeah,
any
yeah, yeah,
sense. Like
yeah.
because you're certain ways just as a high school student, a college student, an adult, a young
Yep.
adult, and you become a dad or a parent or whatever, and you have to somehow be like, oh, hey, I like the things that I'm doing here, or I don't like the things that I'm
Yep.
doing here. How do I take that into being a parent?
Yep.
You know, um,
When
and
so
so
many people struggle with that. Like
yeah,
that's a thing that's a struggle with a lot of individuals and men in general is because we have identity that's tied up into many other things, right? So we talk a lot about identity. It's like, okay, well, we don't want to give up. We want to be selfish in what we have.
yeah,
So when we go from just being a kid to being a young adult, right? We're talking like maybe end of high school, like in post-secondary school, not living at home. We have young adult life. We have our party life, whatever that we might go through. We have our dating life. We have now our married or engaged life, our married life. Like we go through a lot of phases. Wear a lot of hats, and we gravitate to the things that we're used to.
yeah,
Whether it's partying, whether it's being a big Buckeye fan, whether it's being, somebody that's a churchgoer, whether it's I'm into cars, I'm into this, I'm into that, right? And we
yeah,
gravitate to those things. But what I realize is we have a hard time giving that stuff up too. We
sure,
become very selfish. Now, I'm not saying we're supposed to give that stuff up, but where we stop, and this is what this podcast is for, is we stop working on ourselves
mhm,
because eventually we run out of time. I've talked about it before on needing to get up earlier in the morning because the only time that I can do is creating my own time,
yeah,
right? I have to create my own time because if I want to be selfish, I'm going to go create more. I'm going to be selfish in the way that I can create more time, not take away time and be selfish to my kids or my wife, my family, and stuff like that.
yeah,
But a lot of men today, and that's what makes it very difficult marriages, very difficult situations, is they be selfish because they take away from their wife. They take away from their kids. They take away from everything else because they don't want to lose their identity.
sure,
And, what I've found over time, I have a shift that has occurred, right? I realize how much those priorities were not priorities. My priorities are where my priorities should be. So it's like, okay, well, health all of a sudden needs to matter. So I'm like, okay, I'm back at the gym when I should be at the gym, and I shifted my time. Well, all of a sudden, my time with my kids is getting better. My time with my wife is getting better. Those things are getting better, right? All that stuff. Oh, there's time to spend in the Bible with the Word of God. There's time to do this. There's time. All of a sudden, you have all these other extra funtivities and extra activities that you can do.
mhm,
But what I could have done, and I'm glad I didn't do, was take away from all those things
sure,
just because I wanted to go to the gym. Sometimes we get caught up in that,
yeah,
and that's crazy.
yeah,
That's crazy, but we've all been there. We've all been there,
yeah. And
and
I mean, it happens sometimes too, like during the normal course of a week or a day or something happens.
in a week.
What you're talking about though is consistently doing it
Yes.
right, like
Yes.
consistently keeping that at the forefront of your mind.
Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna make a mistake. Yeah, you're gonna be selfish every once in a while.
Yep.
Yeah, you need some alone time. Like who doesn't need a moment of alone time?
Mhm.
Um, but being consistent in that thought process and doing it the right way.
Well, and if you've built it right and been honest, not only with yourself, not only because God knows what you need, right? Been honest with Him. I'm a big believer of yes, He knows all your thoughts, He knows all your feelings, He knows everything that's going on. But sometimes
Mhm.
He just wants you to hear you say it.
Yeah.
I don't know why, right? But like sometimes it's just good to just say it. God,
Mhm.
I need to do this. Done. Right? And I'm not saying He's making that come true, but that's a perspective we need to do. But let's take that a step further. Sometimes our wives need to hear that as well.
Yeah.
Our kids need to hear that. You know what I mean? My wife wants me to hear that I want her to be accountable for me. Like she's got to be accountable. But she also knows that sometimes I'm going to slip up in a perspective of I'm not going to be able to follow through with this. I'm going to take this week, for example, right? And this doesn't happen, but on scenarios, kind of like somewhat scenarios like this, it's like, okay, when we have vacations, my workout time changes.
Mhm.
When it's a snow day, my workout time changes. There's nothing worse than trying to get up and go to the gym at 5:30 in the morning with snow on your car or it's negative 43 degrees outside, right? It's not any fun.
Yeah.
It's not any fun. I'll go at 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. I'll just change my time.
Yeah.
Right? And I also don't want to come home to the kids bouncing off the walls, and I just finished that, and now I can't get rid of them to go to school and go to work, you know what I mean? So, like, it ruins the whole entire routine. So, grace is given there, right?
Mhm.
And your spouse should be giving you that, but she's not going to if you're not talking to her about it.
Yeah.
So,
You
that's
completely
where
got
we're at.
off way off the topic there, but it was good
No,
good
well, I don't
perspective.
know, though. I don't know if we did, but,
Mhm.
like, that you got off topic.
No,
Let's
you
be
went
honest.
kinda like you went like this and you just
No.
never
Never
came
got it.
back.
Alright.
It's good.
Well, I mean, but that was something you were talking about, and
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's where I, get a lot of passion from, from
Yeah.
those things.
It's
So,
good.
and good news is I don't have to answer what makes me a dad, so that's fine. Um,
Why don't you have to answer it?
I figured like we were running out of time here quickly. No,
Are we Yeah, producer Beth has said she has us on the time crunch tonight, so
yeah,
yeah.
I'm probably gonna get in trouble for us saying that over and over and over
Yeah.
again.
So we should stop saying it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, producer Beth, for
I
giving
like
us the proper allotted time. I'm very appreciative
Yes.
for you, sweetheart. All right. I don't know, like I get a lot from my grandparents. I spent a lot of time with my grandfather. When my dad traveled, he
Mm.
traveled like literally when my parents got divorced. My dad traveled Monday through Friday.
Wow.
Like I remember he gave me an American Express card when I was 13 years old,
Whoa.
and he was like, "Hey, here you go. I'll be back Friday." And I was like, "All right."
Wow.
I couldn't even drive. My grandma would drive from Salisbury down to Concord, stay with me on Monday, and then or she'd stay with me or she wouldn't, right? There'd be days that she wouldn't make it. She'd come on
Yeah.
Tuesday, I'd take the bus to school, come back, figure out dinner, right? Hang out with friends, do whatever.
Yeah.
Never got in like crazy trouble or anything. So I had this very like interesting perspective of like what made like that aspect. But I also grew up fast, very, very fast. I mean, when somebody hands you in 2003, an American
Mhm.
Express, it was back in the day when American Expresses were not, you know what I mean? Like somebody hands you American Express Gold, which there was no platinum at the time, you
Yeah.
know, it says, here you go. It's a different thing. And
Sure.
so I grew up fast and it definitely changed my perspective of being a parent. And I spent time with my grandfather because of my grandma coming in town. He would come every once in a while, stuff. I took a lot from like, big thing is like my father-in-law has given me a lot of perspective on, you know, him parenting. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right, wrong, or indifferent, right? I get a lot of perspectives from him. Um, I don't know if there's any one specific thing. You know what I mean? I will say that I was in bro territory a lot.
Yeah.
I don't remember much before I was 13 years old.
Sure.
Like we played baseball, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we played 60 to 90 games, me and my brother each a
Wow.
year, easily, easily.
Yeah.
We played literally a Major League Baseball season every single year, and then like things changed, divorce happened, and then life changed. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
but I will tell you this, like my dad showed up for as much as he possibly could have. You know what I
Right.
mean? I can't fault him for any of that. Like he traveled across the world and would be back and he would be at games and he was in everything he could possibly be in when he was there. So being present, I 100% give him, like at that time, that's what he was.
Right.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get that,
Good.
so big pieces of why I'm the dad I am today. So, all right, what do we got next? What are we ending on? What does it look like today? Or do we have anything else we're going to throw in there to extend this time period?
Well, we do. We don't have to do it though. It's our segment 2, which we have not ever done.
We're doing it today.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
All right. So we sometimes have time if Grayson's not long-winded to do segment 2, which is it's normally ask us anything.
Okay.
This week it's What's Up Jesus, a tag phrase from What's Up Dad. And so it's one thing you've learned or understood better this week. Can be from Bible readings, recent church sermon, you name it. But one thing you've learned or understood better through your faith this week.
Well, I'm going to talk a lot about the sermon from this past week. I'm going to talk a lot about the sermon.
All right, give us 60-second version.
Oh, 60 seconds. Okay.
90.
90. I need 90 seconds.
All right, go ahead.
So, we talk a lot about context, biblical context, in everything, right? Context is everything. Guys, we take so much out of context. It's like, and do not understand where it's all coming from. And I really thought it was interesting because I reached out to our pastor and I was like, give me more context on the poor when it talks about in Galatians. And we talked about this in small group.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's like knowing who the poor was that Paul was referring to in Galatians, needing to help to understand that. Because today we want to say, well, we got to help the poor. Christians have to help the poor. And they could take Galatians and, chapter or verse 9, 9 or 10, whatever that is. We can take and say, well, Paul was sent to help the poor. We can take that out of context. Well, he was helping people that he destroyed the church.
Yeah.
Like he literally destroyed the church. He dismantled the church. And now he is Apostle Paul pulling the church back together. Like, so the poor were the people that literally were dismantled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not to say there's not other bits and pieces to that, but when you look at that, it's like I'm very, very much in tune to understanding contextually how things work, right? That's why I'm slow to speak a lot of times with text and my words that go back is because contextually I want to make sure it fits.
Yeah.
It is fitting.
Yeah.
Right. And
you don't have to mention that every time.
But that's a big thing. It's a big thing for me. But contextually, like I want to make sure it fits because words can be taken out of context, right? And I think it's extremely important. Whereas as I can be long-winded on here, I can be long-winded, but I can give you my context. I have a mic and a stand to give you all the context, and you can't say necessarily no, or you can just say I understand. Whereas sometimes when you send something just haphazardly, you could be missing the laugh, the smile, the funny pun, the whatever that might be. So that's my perspective. That is where I'm at. And I'm just really, really working hard to dive more into stuff in that capacity.
Great.
Really working hard on that.
Good. Do you think that you shared that you didn't quite, you've understood it better, you're understanding it more. How do you think that you'll, like, what application do you think it has to, like, your life?
Man, ooh, that's an interesting question. What application? I don't know. Like, I mean, obviously we're under attack right now, right? And I'm extremely quiet.
Yeah.
When it comes to that stuff, I don't want to get into an argument. Right. We talk about like fighting things when we should be fighting stuff.
Yeah.
And
agree to disagree.
Agree to disagreeing, right? Like like we do that. Agree to disagree. I just choose to just shut up. Like I don't say anything. I don't agree to disagree. I don't open up any context in that perspective.
Sure.
So now, as I'm getting better and starting to really deepen that faith in that context, I feel like I have more ability to stand on that hill if it needs to be stood on.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I think I'm in the same ballpark. And my answer to this question along similar lines, but a little bit differently, is I've just really been focused, and I've been focusing on the spiritual warfare. And this week, some of my devotion has been about um, like the armor of God,
Mm.
and like the breastplate of righteousness, I think it's the shoes of truth, stand on the shoes of truth, and anyhow, like when you really look at the armor of God and all of the different pieces, you don't go to battle with just one piece, right? Just
Absolutely
like in
not.
any battle, you wouldn't just put on boots
Yeah.
and go into the battle. You wouldn't just have a sword and go into the battle. You wouldn't just have a shield. And so it's interesting to read up on that and understand. And I think one of the things that I've been trying to do more so over the last couple of weeks is pray, hey, prepare me.
Mm.
God, prepare me for the battle I'm going to face today.
Mm.
I don't know what it could be. It could be a simple battle. It could be something that Satan's trying to throw at me. It could be a uh, spiritual battle. I don't know, but what do I need to go into this battle today? And the answer has been the same. You need all of this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You need to understand Scripture. You need to. There's our timer, just right on time. You need to understand Scripture. You need to surround yourself with men and people who can speak truth into you. You need to be in prayer. It's all of these things that we should be doing, that we should be prepared, because the battle, um, it's just raging on.
Absolutely.
It's continuous. It's not going to end anytime soon, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's something that I've been understanding this week, and trying to do a better job of um, putting on those pieces every day.
Sure. Well, I'll pull this in context, right? And again,
Nice.
I'll pull this in context. I was watching a video about why chainmail armor, right? Like why in the medieval times when chainmail armor became a thing, and that's what everybody fought in, was so impactful. It's because they've thought of everything. So I think of it from the perspective of where you're at. God has thought of everything. When he says he's putting the breastplate on, boom, the shoes, boom, the this, boom, right? And we get so worried that we don't have, like, our breastplate's not going to like actually cover where we need it to cover. And so the chainmail armor was interesting because it was showing how they were taking like here, right? So say I got a pen and they were like you were going to get stabbed by somebody, right? So follow me. It would hit, but because it was such specific metal, you
Yeah.
would hit and they'd say, "Well, oh wait, it would go up." Right? Oh, you would get cut in the jugular, right?
Yeah.
No, they had a lip on it that would then stop it and or kick it offward. Like
Yeah.
they thought of everything.
That's nice. Yes.
And it was like the little bits and pieces of what they were talking about of like how intricate the chainmail armor was made
Mhm.
and how they thought of each and every piece. Now, they didn't think of how to stop a bullet, but that wasn't a thing, right?
Yeah.
Like that wasn't what was getting thrown at them.
Yeah.
But I think we have to be receptive to what God that we're praying for, what God is giving to us, that it is there to protect us, that it's doing exactly what it was set out to do.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I think sometimes we do get caught up in that where we get worried like that we're not prepared or I haven't been prepared because of such and such. Well, no, God has prepared us. God is preparing us. Like you're asking, you are going to receive. You are, you are putting the work. God's giving you, it's a full circle of situations that's occurring.
Yeah.
Right. So I thought of that when I was watching it and I was like, man, that is literally what it is, because sometimes we get like we question
Yeah.
God. Like, is the armor that he's given us like truly enough? And
Mhm.
absolutely it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just
Good.
the little bit and piece on that one. So that's what we got.
All
What's
right.
up? We're at the end here. I feel good about this.
Yeah, we're wrapping up episode 27, and
Okay.
yeah, good discussion, good content this week.
How do you like the setup? Do you feel like we got a different setup, a better setup here? Do you like this?
I like the round table.
You like the round table?
It's like
Something different.
come to the table.
Yeah. Do you know what's
it's
underneath
like
this?
family.
It's a poker table, bro.
Oh,
So I'm contemplating, like, we'll flip it over. We got a poker
I thought
table.
there was like food or something under there.
like a real poker table.
Oh, I feel it.
Yeah, it's got the leather wrapped around the edge. It's got green felt
How
in
does
the
it?
middle.
You flip it
You just
around?
flip it right over. Look, this little seam will
Yeah.
set right on the edge. It's perfect.
Oh, this is nice. Yeah.
Poker.
So if you're wanting to join the podcast, this is yours. This is the new setup, and
That's the call.
come and join. Now I'm gonna touch this the whole time now.
That's
It's
funny.
nice.
No, yeah, guys. At the end of the day, check us out on all places. We're starting to make a little bit of traction. Best thing you can do for us is actually follow us, right? In the perspective of become a subscriber on YouTube, on all the other channels. Make sure you subscribe. Give it a listen. Share it. Right?
Yeah.
Put it out there. If you found a nugget, a little baby nugget from this episode, share the podcast to another guy, another person. If you're a woman that's been watching this, God bless you. It's been an hour and you followed it the whole way or any bit, and maybe your husband or you know somebody that needs it, like, just share the podcast, get it out there. We are charging on. We have tons of people listening and watching, which has been great. That's not stopping.
Nope.
Really just continuing to look for people that fit the mold of what it is. And there is a mold, right, of being on here. We have people lined up, which is great. We just want to keep the momentum moving forward.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and sign up. Definitely encourage you to do it. We'll tell you if you don't fit the mold.
yeah, but it's not
most
like
people
you think.
fit the mold. Yeah,
It's not like you think, though, right? Like, I just think
Yeah.
some people come with a different mindset of what this is.
Yeah.
That's the key, right? And what I've found is over the years, because I have done this for a while, is most people, once you talk to them, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's no big deal," and they can easily adjust. So this is not a stage to talk about your business. That's for darn sure. It's not a stage to talk about any of that. It's a stage to talk about dad things, real, raw, and relevant topics.
Yeah,
So,
it's not that we won't get into some of that, but certainly
absolutely.
we want to keep it true to the mission of the What's Up Dad podcast.
Yeah, guys. All right. Check us out,
Have a
guys.
bugle to wrap up.
Oh, have a bugle?
You want to do a bugle cheers today?
Bugle cheers? Absolutely.
Let's do the
let me
bugle
get a,
cheers.
we
Get
got
one
a
with the good
salted-
stuff on
I got a
it.
salted one. I got a salted one. We're good.
Salted.
I got a salted
You've been
bugle.
a-
You got a broken bugle.
That's a sad bugle. We need a good bugle. How much time do we got? We doing good on time?
Oh man, we're in trouble. We got to get off here. Cheers, boss.
Cheers.
Hey, enjoy, guys. Thank you.
What's up, Dad? Hey, Dad. What's up?